Okay, so welcome to the next session of this career planning and development session. And you remember we discussed some of the basic concepts related to career planning and development, like what is career, how do you understand what is career planning and development, okay, how these activities are carried out, okay, and what is the role of HR professionals in the process. Right. Now, what we are going to discuss some concepts related to this, that is career stages and career anchors. These are the two important developments that have happened in the area of career planning and development. When I am talking about career stages, the idea here is to discuss about that how do we move to different stages in our career, right. And then career anchors basically tell you that depending upon your skill, ability, interest, motivation, whether you are in the right kind of career or not, right. So, these are the two things that we are going to discuss here. First, the growth or the progression across stages in your career, starting with your first job till your retirement, okay. And then moving to identifying your interest, your abilities, your knowledge and skill, and accordingly see to it whether you are in the right kind of job or not, right. Many of us regret in our lives later on, because we have not been able to get into the right kind of job. We wanted to do something else, but compulsions actually do not allow, and then we take up certain jobs because of certain compulsions, and then we are a different kind of job, and then later on we regret in our life. So, if you are going to plan your career, okay, you need to understand that what are the activities that first you are, which you are going to take across career stages, okay, major career stages, and then you also need to assess yourself in terms of career anchors, which is going to guide you and help in the process to decide what kind of career is going to be suitable for you. Okay. And this is what we are going to discuss you now. So, in this process, first of all we will talk about career stages. Now, if you look at career stages, okay, as I told you that career anchors and career stages are going to affect your career both, okay, because career impacted life stages means that at which stage of life you are at, and what are the different activities that you need to perform in order to remain viable, competitive and successful in that particular stage. Okay. And career anchors, as I told you, is related to identifying the right kind of careers for you. Okay. So, we will discuss it one by one. Now, if you look at career impacted life stages, it means you have a life cycle, the individual life cycle, right, which starts with your inception and it goes up to your retirement, death, right. So, that is the life cycle of an individual. Out of this life cycle, you start working somewhere close to 18-20, right, and you continue to work up to 70-75. Okay. So, that is the career stage, career life stage, right. It means we are here considering not the individual life stages, but we are considering the work life stages, okay, which has the range say from 18 to 20 starting, usually people start working, and then it could be up to 65-70 depending upon your health and these kind of things, right. So, when we move from one stage of career to another stage, and you know that it is also linked with your age, okay. Maybe sometimes we start very late, okay, that is possible, but in general when we enter into a career and when we retire from one job, and even if you are going to a different job, we have to see what are the different stages. So, these stages have been identified as growth, exploration, establishment, maintenance, and finally, you have a decline stage when you go for retiring from a job or a career. Okay. So, that is where you need to make a difference, that job does not mean a career, because after retirement you may start a new career, a different kind of career, right. Suppose I am a teacher, I retire from the job, then I can go for social service, I can open a school where I go and teach, right. I may be associated with NGO. So, that is a different kind of career, right. So, what I wanted to tell you here is that we have to see that what are the different activities, what is the age group, and what are the things that need to be done at these stages in order to remain competitive and viable, right. So, we start the first stage and then we move to the final stage. Now, if you look at this in order to understand, okay. So, somewhere it starts with at the age of 20 and it moves up to, you can see, up to age of 70, right. that is the working life, right. This is the range of working life. You can roughly conclude it to up to 50 years. Okay. So far you are able to perform effectively, right, and beyond that you are going to retire, and you may be doing something, but that is not an active career stage, right. So, during this stage you may be say having many various positions, transitions, okay. Just like a person's job, like you are working here, you might go for a different kind of job, you might be into a different kind of career as well, right. So, and then it is expected that at each stage of this career you are going to perform well. Okay. So, that is why you will find that on one axis we have performance, which is expected from you, and the other stage you have age. What actually happens, or it can be expected that with growing age there is a possibility of decline your performance, and that is where you need to maintain your performance level in order to remain viable for the organization, right. So, we expect that when you enter into an organization, okay, your performance is not going to be very good, because you are new, you yet to understand things. So, gradually what you do, you start working. Okay. So, in where somewhere in between 20 to 25 you take up your first job, sometimes later also, right. So, that is the first stage where you try to explore various options and then you take up a job. Then move to the next stage, establishment. Once you take up your first job and you accept it and you start doing it, and this is the stage where you are trying to establish your worth, okay, that yes, you have been the right choice, you are doing well, and then you try to do everything that helps you to establish and secure you in the job, that is more important. And then once you move from this stage to another stage, then you are in the mid career stage, okay, that is known as middle age, right, which move up to 50, and that is what actually is from 30 to 50 is the most productive age of an individual's life, right. So, now you can see two arrows. Okay. So, I see this is what? This is a line that shows that your performance gets stabilized after 35 onwards, and that continues up to 50. So, usually it does not have a problem, right. You continue to remain with the organization, because your performance is more or less standard, there is no change. Moving further, you will find that you need a progression to higher level, right. It means your performance move to higher level, but if your performance decline, there is also a possibility. So, there could be three possibilities. Once you establish yourself, you continue to work effectively to perform well in your mid career, or you maintain at least the standard performance level, or your performance goes down, right. And then you move to the next level, that after 50 and somewhere between 50 and 60, your performance level is either or at least has to be maintained at a particular level in order to survive in the organization, right, unless your job is secure and you are a government organization, and that is changing also. So, you need to maintain a standard performance level. So, you need to continue doing those activities. The only thing happens that physically you may not, mentally you may not be that active compared to this particular stage 35 to 50, right. So, even if you are not able to move ahead in a performance level, at least you need to maintain this level of performance. Okay. After this, you have different activities to perform. So, you prepare yourself to retire after 60, depending upon the age of retirement, maybe 60, 65, 70. Okay. So, here you will find that your performance is gradually deteriorating, and sometimes it becomes very difficult for you to maintain the same performance level. It means that there is a decline. So, it is not a U-shaped curve. So, actually you start with some standard performance level, then you try to establish, move up in the performance level, you maintain that, and then there is a gradual decline of performance, right. So, if you look at age and performance, so this is the kind of relationship that could be expected from an individual in a career. Now, when we are talking about different kind of stages, the first stage, look at the first stage, we are talking about the exploration stage. Now, at this stage, what are the things that you need to do? you are going to experience different kind of jobs. So, you may be involved in engaged in identifying different kind of activities, performing them, right. That is first thing. So, in the first job whatever is given to you, you will do it, because there is a question of survival. Okay. So, you are going to experience different kind of tasks, you may be rotated to different jobs in order to identify which job is going to be more suitable to you. Then you also try to assess yourself whether this job is good for you or not, okay, and whether the job choice was correct or not. Okay. And that is why at this stage you will find that lot of changes happens, people changes their jobs. In the first stage, especially starting with this to up to this, up to 35, even up to here, you know that this is the age when people frequently change their jobs. This is the first stage, okay, because it is the exploration stage, because you have not been able to settle in a particular job. So, you keep on changing your job, you try to assess yourself, you go for more learning and development interventions, you see that what needs to be done in order to have a more stable job, so that you can establish yourselves, right. And that is where you try to see that your other needs are satisfied. It means that you try to see that what is the occupation which you are doing, what kind of image you will have if you are going to do it, okay. And in the process you try to settle down. Okay. Once this exploration stage is over, then you move to the next stage, that is what we call the establishment stage. Now, if you look at this establishment stage, that is the most important stage. Now, you are more or less settled in a particular job, and then you are going to do those activities which will help you to establish your credibility, your worth for the organization, and that is where you are going to contribute to the growth and development of yours personally and professionally, and also to the organization. So, establishment, it means that you have to establish yourself. So, this is, you can say, after settlement from 25 to 30, if you look at this stage, okay, so you try to learn the ropes, the tricks in the organization, you try to secure challenging jobs, you try to increase your competence, knowledge and skill, you try to be more creative and innovative, right. So, that you are able to prove your worth for the organization, right. And at the same time you also deal with competitions, failures, conflicts, because it is a part of the job. And then you try to develop and become more empowered, in the sense then you try to get more and more freedom. So, you try to think that okay, now I should decide how to do, what to do, and why I am going to do certain things. So, you are going to develop this kind of feeling to get independence and freedom in deciding what to do and how to do things, right. So, these are the processes or the needs that you need to look at the second stage, and then from second stage basically you move to the third stage, okay. That is the mid career stage, and this is what we know as maintenance stage, right. That is where you need to maintain your performance levels. Okay. So, in order to maintain your performance level, what are the activities that you need to do is, you need to continuously upgrade your knowledge and skill base, because with the set of knowledge and skill which you have entered into the organization may not be relevant today. So, what you go for more training and development, you try to educate yourself in order to survive and remain competitive. Okay. So, you try to get coached, okay. You continue to rotate into different areas, take up challenging assignments, okay. And then try to develop a broad view of career. Okay. At this stage you think that okay, you try to assess and see where you have reached, and whether you have been able to achieve your life goal in the medium range or not, right. And that is actually, this is the stage where you also think not only about your job, but about your work, other than your work you also think about your family and other issues, because by the time you move to this stage your children keep growing. Okay. So, you are worried about their education, you also try to maintain family work life balance. You know that at this stage what actually happens, you have to maintain yourself physically and mentally. Okay. So, there could be lot of issues related to not only at the personal level, but also at the professional level. Okay. And that is where you need to maintain yourself, so that you continue to perform. If you are not going to perform at higher level, at least you continue to perform at the same level, and that is why if you look at this figure, it says that you need to maintain your performance level, that is very important, right. So, that happens at the maintenance stage, and after that what happens, the last stage, the late career stage, that is where your decline happens after 60 and onwards. you prepare yourself to retire. It means you are going to relook at work, okay? And then you try to assess the whole situation, okay? What I have done in my life, whether I have been able to achieve my goal or not, and what kind of identity I have created for myself. But again at this stage, with declining physical and mental strength, you still try to be as much productive as possible. So, you have to remain productive in order to survive and grow, okay? And at this is the stage that is where you are going to plan for retirement, okay? So, your role, you also shift your role from power to guidance. You remember we talked about till date you have been working for yourself. So, now you take the responsibility to become a coach or a mentor, okay, and guide others and help them to grow and develop, right. So, your role also changes at this stage, because you are a very senior experienced professionals, and it is your responsibility to ensure the growth and development of other people. And at this stage, since you are about to retire, you also need to find your successor and ensure that the successor has all the right kind of knowledge and skill and abilities to take up the positions. And you also see that and explore possibility the second career after the retirement. Okay. What you are going to do after the retirement, because you cannot sit idle at home, right. So, these are some of the issues that is related to what you call the late career stage. Okay. Remember we talked about this one. So, there could be issues related to your retirement, then you try to look at a house, then you are try to see that okay, your children are grown up, so you look for the marriage and other things. So, all kind of settlement issues may come into the picture, right. So, that is where the late career starts, and then you see that what you are going to do after the retirement, because you have been active in a job for a long period, and suddenly if you sit idle, which is not good for you, your health, physical as well as mental health. So, you continue to do certain things, may not be in monetary terms, may be some kind of social service and other activities, which you have not been able to pursue so far, okay. And that is where you are going to start a second career, okay. So, these are the different kind of stages. Now, Levinson have also proposed more or less similar kind of things, where he talked about 4 different stages, okay. And the first stage actually this early adulthood and late adulthood is identified into 2 things, okay. So, it identified as pre-adult, early adult, middle adulthood and also late adulthood. Now, if you look at this, he says what are the things that you need to do. Okay. Early adulthood, what happens? There is a transition from college life to work life, okay. And you are going to enter into the adult world somewhere. I mean the range could be from 28 to 45. That is the period, the first stage where you try to enter, there is a transition and then you try to settle down. Then there is the midlife transition in the midlife, okay. Okay. And what they are, you are going to perform certain activities which is required for you to remain productive, at least maintaining the same performance level. And the late adulthood, what happens? The third part of your life, that you plan for retirement and to do those kind of activities which are of interest to you. Now, if you look at this and the career stages which have been discussed earlier, more or less goes close to each other, except that the number of stages that he talked about is less, right. Otherwise, it is more or less same. So, now you have understood the various stages of life, right. Now, we are going to talk about another important issues, that is career anchors, and it is proposed by Edgar Schein. And he says that it is something that develops over period of time, and it is related to your own self concepts, which helps you to identify that okay, whether this career is good, whether it is meant for you or not. And then there are 3 things that actually helps to identify you whether you are in the right kind of career, whether it is matching your requirement in terms of your interest, values, likes and these kind of things or not. Okay. First thing, you make sure that you are going to select a career for which you have the talent, skill and abilities. Okay. And if you think that for this kind of job you have the requisite knowledge, skill and abilities, then you go for it. If you think that you do not have, then do not go for it. Second thing he says that what are your motivations and needs. Whether you are going for a particular job, whether your motives and needs would be satisfied in terms of money, status, challenge and autonomy. So, what motivates you, whether it is money that is motivates you, whether it is status that is motivates you, whether it is challenge in the job that motivates you, or you are looking for more freedom, autonomy in a job, okay. Because that is going to guide you the kind of job that you should be. Okay. And finally, what kind of attitude values you have, whether you want to feel comfortable with a particular job, okay. Whether your value system is belief system is matching with the organizational values or not. Okay. So, these are the three things which is going to create or identify a image for yourself, and then you are going to put that image into a particular job and see whether you are going to fit into that particular job or not, right. And that is why these career anchors have been identified. Now, if you look at these career anchors, there are 8 career anchors, starting with technical competence, managerial competence, security, creativity, autonomy, dedication to a cause or service, challenge and lifestyle. Now, what I will do? I will take examples of each of these to explain what these competencies mean. And remember, when we are talking about this, I told you that this is the basis of identifying a career. So, what you are looking forward to, what is your knowledge and skill base, and whether what is your attitude and values. Based on this, you should decide in what kind of career you should go for, right. So, based on this, he identified 8 career anchors. Okay. So, there is a scale which can be used to measure it, these competencies, and see that what are the competencies which is dominating in you. You go for a combination of 2-3 major competencies and accordingly decide a job which is going to be suitable for you, right. So, if you look at these competencies, the first is technical and functional competence. Now, if you look at this, the picture shows that yes, it is a technical aspect, right, where you have a hammer and nail and you are trying to do it. It means that you are doing something that is technical in nature. Okay. So, technical and functional competence means that you have the competence in some technical and functional areas, and you want to go for that kind of job, seeking chances to apply your special expertise in that particular field. Okay. And you will be happy if you are going to work in that particular area. For example, if you are an electrical engineer, so then and you have got a job with say electricity company, then you will be most happy person to do this job, because you have the expertise and knowledge to perform your job effectively, right. And then you try to specialize in those areas, okay. And you are not interested in managerial jobs, right, like being a computer programmer, a specialist engineer, say a technical specialist, right. So, this is one competence. Moving to the next one, that is managerial competence. Whether you want to supervise other people, whether you are looking for prestige, power and better remuneration, okay, then you should apply for this kind of job. Okay. So, you want to be a manager, okay, because of the prestige, power and remuneration that is associated with this kind of jobs. Okay. So, if you are inclined to develop these competencies, then you would like to do a job which would be related to this kind of things, okay, where you are going to be responsible and accountable for the entire results. So, you are going to manage the entire affairs, okay. But you need certain technical and functional competencies to perform this job effectively, but it is not going to dominate, because if you are an electrical engineer, you are going to use your technical expertise in performing your job. But suppose you are a general manager in an electrical company, then your job is different. You are not going to have those require those technical functional competencies to perform your job at that level, but you are going to manage and supervise people, and that is where you have power, authority and these kind of things, and you think that you are responsible for running the show. Okay. So, you move from a more pure technical job to a more generalist jobs, right. And for example, you want to go into administration, suppose you want to become a say IAS officer, right, or head of the departments or something like that, or head of the zone. So, these kind of things actually require certain competencies, and if you have developed those competencies and if you are inclined towards power, if you have high need for power, achievement and these kind of things, then you should go for this kind of job, because that is going to satisfy you more. Moving to the third part, that is security and stability, right. Now, if you look at this, what kind of things you are looking forward to in a job? See, there is a tendency among Indian people today to go for government jobs. You know why? This tendency is because you want to have a safe and secure job, okay, because they are tenure jobs where you are going to be more secure in the job. So, what motivates you is financial security, like you get pension, you have retirement, these kind of things, so that your life is going to be secure. Okay. and for that you, even if you have aptitude for a different kind of job, but this kind of anchor is dominating, then you would prefer to go for a government job, right. You are not interested what kind of work you are going to do. You are a say electrical engineer, but you are working in a bank, going for a different kind of job, because you know that the banking job could be is a government job where you are going to have a secure job, right. So, your entire self image around management of security and stability is developed, right. So, this is what we call security and stability. Moving to the next one, that is being a creative person or entrepreneurship. It means instead of working under others, you want to have your own business, because you want to see that you develop your own interest on having your own enterprise or business based on your own abilities. So, you are ready to take risks, you are whatever barriers come to you when you are going to start a business, then you want to see that how you are going to overcome this, okay. And then actually you want to prove yourself that yes, you can do something, okay. And that feeling is going to motivate you. So, if you have very high need for achievement, if you are really creative and innovative, then you can think of becoming an entrepreneur, okay. So, you develop your own enterprises, you want to be financially successful life. For example, businessman, successful businessman, or those who have their startups. You know that nowadays there is a provision of having a lot of startups. Okay. So, you have your own career, you develop your own career, but you are not associated with an organization. So, you are a person who have your own organization and want to see that how this your organization or business succeeds in the long run, right. So, that is, if that feeling you have, then you should go for these kind of activities. So, it means that you go for a startup or a business where you can perform well and be effective. Now, apart from that, another important factor is autonomy and independence, right. When you are talking about autonomy and independence, that how much autonomy you are looking forward to. You know that some people are entirely dependent upon their bosses, and whatever they say they will do it. Okay. Now, this autonomy is very important, means that it helps you to decide how you are going to do your work, why you are going to do it, and you decide what is to be done, and that provides you a lot of flexibility, right. And you do not want to be governed by rules, restrictions, formal rules and regulations that is at the workplace. Okay. So, even if you are getting promoted, but if you are going to work under somebody, then you do not like it. Okay. So, what kind of job you should go for if you have this kind of inclination, right. You work as a freelancing because you are going to be your own boss, you go and get into consulting or do some independent work where you are going to work under you only. So, there is going to be less restrictions or less formalities which is going to govern your life, right. Then moving from autonomy and independence, then another important factor is dedication to the cause or service, right, where you take up a cause and for which you devote your entire life, right. You know some of the Nobel laureates, okay, who have been working their field for the development and growth of the people, other activists like human rights activists, environmental activists, right. They are not bothered about anything else in the career. They are interested to serve the society, okay, and for them the greater good is the most important thing, right. So, they want to achieve something which they value in their life, like solving environmental problems, helping the downtrodden, okay, going for say working with the tribal people. Okay. So, you will find lot of people who have left good jobs and work with the tribal people. I met one person who is a professor of mathematics in IIT Delhi, and he is working with the tribal people in Chhattisgarh. He left his lucrative job and working with tribals in Chhattisgarh. So, they are dedicated to the cause of service for upliftment of the people, protecting human rights, right, protecting the environments, protecting the women and children, and doing them something for something. So, if you have that kind of inclination, then you should go for these kind of jobs, okay, where you are dedicated to the cause of service. And then if you are looking for pure challenge, okay, so you are totally focused on one particular things, okay. For example, if you want to be a very good successful sportsman, and if you are thinking that okay, less than an Olympic medal is nothing that is going to be valuable for you. In that case, what will you do? You will put all your effort, all your energy, all your resources to solve that or to reach to that level. Okay? And then you try to see that how to reach to that particular goal, because it is something that is attracting you. So, whenever you find challenge, then it is going to attract you, pull you, and then you are pulled so much by that attraction, then you start working for this kind of things. Okay. For example, winning an Olympic is not an easy job, right, because you might be having very tough opponents and you might fail also. Okay. So, you try to work in an environment which is very challenging, you have very tough opponents or competitors, and then you try to see whether you are going to win or not. So, if you are going to take up if you are being driven by this particular say factor, then you should go for these kind of jobs where you find very challenging things and assignments, okay, good competitors, and see whether you are going to succeed or not. And then look at the lifestyle. Okay. When you want to lead a good lifestyle, good money, okay, holistic approach to work life balance, you have a good luxury car, you have a big very good house, okay, and then you have a good family work balance. Okay. So, you are interested in these kind of things. So, you want to integrate everything, right, and for that even you are ready to sacrifice your career. So, whatever you do, you think that you should good money. Okay. So, money is basically are those things, the facilities and these things become the criteria for your success, not the career. So, being able to achieve these things, then it is good for you. So, if you want to maintain good lifestyle, then work for that. Okay. Do not think about other things. So, what we have been discussing here is the various kind of anchors which may guide you. Now, the question is that when you are talking about these kind of things, you have to see what are the 3-4 major anchors which is going to dominate, and a combination of that is going to help you to decide in what kind of career you should go for. Okay? That is all. Thank you.